Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this year's Personal Project Exhibition Talk 2022 or PPX Talk 2022. Hello, my name is Farah, and I will be your MC today for the first session. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining us this year's for our PPX Talk with the theme The Power of Optimism. Today's event will be a celebration of learning where every year 10 student will share their journey with all of the school community members. They have been working hard in completing their culminating assessments as students of the IB Middle Years program. Well, before we continue, I think it is only right for me to explain a bit further about what a personal project is. So, a personal project is a mandatory program to get the MYP certificate from the IB. It is a project based on the student's personal interests, which they will later on develop into a full fledged project, and so they have a learning goal to achieve. Personal project focuses on the development of the caring, impactful leading, reflective, communicative, and action oriented dimension of the 5-star competencies. Students should follow 3 stages of learning, which include planning, applying skills, and last, reflecting. Through today's PPX talks, we'll get to learn each student's project in depth. They will tell you the learning goal, the product, the process in creating the product, and their reflection on it. They might tell you the challenges they face and how they have overcome them. But before we start the talk, I will invite Reza to lead the prayer for us. Reza, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Sejenak, mari sama-sama kita tundukkan hati kita, diri kita untuk mengawali Personal Project Exhibition Talk pada pagi hari ini dengan terlebih dahulu berdoa kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassallallahu ala wasallamu ala sayyidina wa mursalim wala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Ya Allah yang Maha Pengasih dan Penyayang, pada hari yang penuh kebahagiaan serta berkah dan rahmat-Mu ini, kami keluarga besar Sekolah Cikal Amri mengadakan Personal Project Exhibition Talk. Untuk itu, dengan segala kerendahan hati, kami memohon kepadamu ya Allah, agar kiranya Personal Project Exhibition Talk kali ini bisa berjalan dengan lancar, agar bisa menjadi pembelajaran, inspirasi, dan motivasi bagi segenap pengunjung yang hadir menyaksikannya. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Berilmu, kami sadar bahwa ilmu yang kami miliki sangatlah kurang. Kami sangat membutuhkan tambahan ini dari-Mu untuk bekal pengabdian kami dan menambah kualitas diri kami agar kami menjadi manusia yang berguna dan bermanfaat bagi orang lain. Untuk itu, mohon jadikanlah personal project ini menjadi penyemangat bagi kami untuk bisa membuat project-project berikutnya yang tentunya lebih menantang dan lebih bermakna. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha mendengar, kabulkanlah doa permohonan kami. Hanya kepadamu lah kami menyembah dan hanya kepadamu lah kami memohon pertolongan. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam and thank you, Reza. Now, allow me to invite our principal to give a few words to open today's PPX Talk session. Everyone, please welcome Ibu Siti Fatimah. Ibu Siti Fatimah, the time is yours.
Thank you, Farah. Good morning, parents. Good morning, students. And good morning, teachers. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Sekolah Cikal Amri Personal Project Exhibition. Normally, we hold our exhibition in our school, but the pandemic and coronavirus has put paid to that, and so here we are indeed. Thank you for joining with us. A personal project is the completing task for year 10 students at Sekolah Cikal Amri in completing their IB Middle Years program. At Sekolah Cikal, learning always gives power for students to be able to contribute to their society around them and globally. As this is one of the Cikal visions, empower member of just, sustainable, and peaceful global society. This project allows students to explore an area that motivates and interests them. They can choose what they want to focus on, which can be an existing or a new interest. Or they also can choose how to achieve their learning goal and create their own success criteria for the product. With the theme, The Power of Optimism, your 10 students have worked really hard to complement their personal project. By now, Let's start our celebration from Alicia, Dipa, Raja, and Naira with their topic, inspiration. Congratulations!
Thank you so much, Ibu Sifa, for the insightful speech. Now, before we move on to today's presenters, I would like to inform everyone that we have uploaded our students' project into our dedicated Instagram, which you can check out at CSA underscore PPX underscore 2022. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the posts. I would also encourage all of you guys to write down your questions in the comments below if you are curious about some aspects of these projects, because yes, we will have a Q&A session after this. So drop your questions. Today we will have 4 presenters under the category Inspiration. So I hope by tuning in to today's session, you will all get inspired and learn new things from what they do. And remember, we still have 3 more sessions after this, one in the afternoon of today and 2 more tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I will give time for our first presenter, Alisa Natania Raswari, with her project What's Poppin' Indonesia. Alisa, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Alyssa and my personal project is What's Poppin' Indonesia. So before we get on to the actual thing, I would like to, explain what What's Poppin' Indonesia actually is. So What's Poppin' Indonesia is basically, well, obviously it's my personal project, but it's my initiative on trying to spread awareness to youths, or basically just people of my age, regarding mostly social issues that are happening around us, which I feel need more public attention. Um, and everything is posted on Instagram in the form of articles, just because I wanted to reach a bigger audience, and I know that lots of people my age are on Instagram. So that's basically what What's Poppin' Indonesia is. So this is my learning goal for the personal project itself. My learning goal is pretty simple. It's basically to learn how to publish written works that will benefit society. And this goal was derived from my personal interest, writing and activism. So back then, I used to be involved in lots of youth organizations, like youth nonprofit communities, in which I was surrounded by people who were passionate about these type of issues, and I was exposed to like a whole new world of activism, and then I realized that there are lots of issues around us that people don't know about, that need to change, that like need more public attention. And when I was planning this personal project, I wanted to do something that I would enjoy doing, but would also benefit the people around me. And then at the time when I was planning the project, I kind of was into writing, as in like I would use writing not like in a professional matter or something, but I would use it as a medium of self-expression. As if like I wanted to rant, I would like write down paragraphs, like so many paragraphs, on my notes app. And then when I was writing one of them, I thought about, wait, maybe this could be my personal project. So I came up with this. I came up with What's Poppin' Indonesia because I felt like this is the best way to combine the two worlds I was very invested in at the time. So here's the actual product. You can find it on Instagram. My username is at What's Poppin' Indonesia. And so here are my success criterias. I have 5 success criteria under 3 different categories. The first one is form. 4 articles, each article minimum 500 words. The reason why I chose 4 articles was because of the time constraints. Obviously, I obviously wanted to make more, but like considering the time given for the personal project itself wasn't enough to make more than 4. And 500 words, that's because I didn't want the article to be too long, because I did research beforehand. And I know that my target audience don't have the longest attention spans in the whole world, so I didn't want the article to be too long, but I also didn't want it to be too short. I wanted it to be long enough that I could put like a good overview of the issue itself. So that's why I made it 500 words. And for the purpose and function itself, it's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory based on my learning goal is to enhance my writing skills and to spread awareness. in the audience. My target audience is mainly people of the ages 13 until 24. As I said before, the focus of my platform is to spread awareness to youths. But then again, the category of youths is people that fall under the age of 15 until 24. But at the time when I first was exposed to the world of activism, I was 14. So I didn't think that making my target audience 15-24 was effective, so I just pushed it back to 13 because that was the minimum age to use Instagram. But I'm also not limiting my audience to only people of that age range. That's why I said an audience of all ages. But my product is more specifically tailored to suit the likings of people of the set age range. And why did I choose this age range? Is because I fall under the age range itself. So yeah. Moving on. This is the overview of how I created the project itself. I did four bigger steps. I have public survey, research and planning, writing and publishing. For research, writing and publishing, that's basically just the three things that I did over and over again in the whole project for 4 times because I had 4 articles. But obviously all of this was done after brainstorming, because after planning, after the whole thing. But for the product itself, this is what I did. Before I started the project, I made a public survey because the whole aim of the project itself is to benefit society, as I said before. So wanted to make sure that whatever I wrote was not for me, but for the people. That's why I held a public survey in which people can choose which issues they think are most important at the time. And then they could vote. And then I wrote the most voted ones. I made articles on the most voted topics. And then after that, the obvious, I did my research and planning because I didn't want to spread fake info. Obviously, I had to evaluate my sources, read lots of different sources on the internet, try to connect the infos. And as you can see on the presentation itself, I also made notes because just so I can get a clearer picture of what I actually wanted to include in the article itself. And after I did my research and planning, I wrote the whole thing, obviously. I had to make so many different drafts because I didn't want to. I wanted to be organized in the whole process. And after I wrote these, I also sent my articles to my friends. After I finished every article, I would send it to a friend of mine for feedback. And that friend of mine would have to fall under the category of my targeted audience as well, because otherwise that would be weird. But after I got the feedback from them, I would try to change or adjust, modify my writing based on their suggestions if it was feasible. And then after that, I would publish it on Instagram. Actually, between writing and publishing, there's a designing process, but the reason why I didn't include that there is because I didn't do the whole thing. Because of time constraints, I actually managed to get help on the designing process, and I didn't do all of it, so I'm not putting it there because it's not part of my success criteria as well. But after that, we published it on Instagram, and I have in total I have 4 articles, but each of them are translated into Indonesian. So we have around 8 articles that you can read, but basically 4 English, 4 Indo, just because I wanted to make sure that everyone reading my articles can understand what I'm trying to say, since my target audience is also the Indonesian public, since what I'm talking about is social issues in Indonesia. I wanted to make sure that every Indonesian would be able to understand what I'm saying. Next up, here are the challenges I faced. Basically, there were 3 main challenges in the makings of this project. And the first one was obviously starting the project. What I meant by starting the project is mostly the beginning, the early stages of the project. I was pushed back for around 1 month, as in I delayed my project. I delayed my first article for at least a month because of 1 or 2 reasons that I sadly cannot disclose. But it was, since I delayed it by so long, I struggled with time constraint at the back because I had very limited time to complete my project. And I had to catch up with school deadlines as well. So that was my main struggle, actually, just with time, and like since my articles were supposed to be bi-weekly, I had to post them every 2 weeks. So after the publishing of my first article, things became very hectic, as in I had to complete every single thing within 2 weeks, and then it can't be longer than 2 weeks because otherwise it wouldn't be bi-weekly. And besides that, it was also hard to get my facts straight because for certain issues there would be different opinions, like different views on the issue itself that you can get on the internet. And what I would do to overcome this is basically I would like try to refer to like more official and unbiased website, and that's why I also would evaluate my sources as well, just so I would get the most unbiased opinion on that issue as possible. And for the first article as well, it was the hardest to get my facts right. I had to get it proofread by so many different people just to make sure that I am not spreading fake info, because then that would be very wrong. Like, I don't want my audience to get fake info from my platform as well, obviously. So that was the main challenges I faced. It was time and getting my facts straight. Yeah. So for the evaluation, the overall reflection of the project itself, actually, despite all the struggles that I did face, this project was definitely not easy to complete, but I would gladly say that this project was a huge success. I managed to complete all 5 out of the 5 success criteria successfully. Um, and I also, through this project, I got to know lots more about the issues that I was talking about, since maybe in the beginning of the project I was aware, but I wasn't like very knowledgeable. Like, I didn't know too much about the issue itself. And by doing this project, I got to know a lot more. And what's more exciting is also that I get to share it with people on Instagram, so like people can read it. And I was very happy at the end as well, because I got so many positive feedback through like Instagram comments. And as someone who started from zero, as in like a new Instagram account, I was very happy that I got like a decent amount of likes and comments. And I was glad that I know that some people out there did actually know some stuff from what I posted. So that was very, very encouraging and very exciting. And I guess the struggles were worth it at the end. So yeah, that is all for my presentation today. Thank you so much for listening. If there are any questions, feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask in the chat box, because we'll be having a Q&A session at the end. And yeah, thank you so much. Back to you, Farah.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, for your presentation. And if you'd like to know more about Alyssa's project, feel free to visit her Instagram at What's Poppin' Indonesia. Next up, we will have Danadipa Anantadira with his project Illusion of Life. Danadipa, the time is yours.
Hello, my name is Dana Dipanantadira, and here I want to focus on really the how I can help other future generations and learn from my mistakes, and of course showcase my project as it is. So a bit of backstory on what got me into this project. I've always been a fan of Ghibli films because they exhibit a form of surreal sci-fi and world building that was unparalleled to any of the other anime films that was out in the market back then. And they always piqued my interest and always got me hooked on a story. So I decided to take my advice from my sister, which is trying to make my personal project something that I'm passionate about, and seize this as an opportunity in order to reach my goal that I've always wanted. I asked, what do I wish for? What is my goal? And one of them that I chose was to make my drawings come to life. How can I achieve my goal with my passion and skills, which is I have a passion in visual arts and film, is animation, because they're the best of both worlds. Well, of course, with every academic project, you have to choose the learning. You have to choose a global context, and in here, I chose the one that fit my project needs, which is individual and cultural expression. What skills do I need in order to achieve my goal relates to the ATL skills of this very academic process planning, which is research and investigation, thinking and creative skills, and self-management skills. So of course, with every product, you need a success criteria in order to make sure your product is of a certain quality. So this might be a little confusing, so let's just simplify it a bit. Why is this product success criteria important to my project? First of all, you need to understand the basics of what animation is. Animation is a tool that is used to answer the question of how best to tell the story. How 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 do we tell the story as best as possible so that the audience can understand and the audience can feel touched. So criterion A handles that with making sure that the animation is of a clear and solid quality, and making sure that the drawings and the movement flow naturally between one drawing to another. Criterion B, while not as important as criterion A, is still very important in the context of the global context. Oh, in context of the global context that I chose, which is individual and personal expression. There's also criterion C, which is the length and frequency of the movement, just to make sure that uh, I don't slack off in this project and make two drawings and call it an animation. So this is one of the best animation sequences that I found from an animator called Toshiyuki Inoue. Notice how he uses animation in a way that he focuses the frames on the really important aspects of the animation, which is the slap, and the initial, the slap and the aftermath of the slap. You can tell that even when the animation is choppy, it still flows fluidly between one drawing to another. So with a complete beginner's knowledge of animation, I needed to know more specifically what fundamental skills should I focus on for animation, what to avoid as a beginner to avoid pitfalls, and what habits should I do in order to get a concise and solid animation skills to make this project. And also, of course, the medium that I'm going to be animating in, which is digitally. I decided to do the Japanese process of animation, which is, to be honest, the fundamental skills of any animation project or any film project, which is it starts from a story and you visualize the story into a storyboard and you make the storyboard more concise with a layout of the backgrounds and where the characters are going to be. Of course, the actual animation of the characters and the objects, and of course, post-productions with editing and sound. So where can I find this information? I I managed to track down one interviewee, which was really excellent because this interviewee was had experience in teaching people animation and with a professional animator himself. Of course, there's plenty of resources online with many professionals going online to post their work or post tutorials. And also, of course, there's the actual experience you get from animating or drawing or the process of animation itself. So what I got from the interviews, what I learned from the interviews is there's three important lessons that I learned, which is keeping the gears running, habits. Try to keep one drawing every day or not one line every day. Consistency is the key. It's not about volume. Have inspiration. Always have inspiration. Which one technique it's called the compost bins, where professional animators would take any idea they have in their mind and put it into one compost bin, and it'll eventually ferment into a fertilizer for inspiration. And of course, try. Never be afraid to try, and always try your best to do something that you wouldn't do otherwise. This is an example of a professional animator, which at the age of 19, one of the first animations he made, though crude and kind of bad compared to his future animation, was him trying to study the animation of Naruto, which is a really established animation TV show. So here's what I learned. Uh, the person I interviewed said 15 minutes a day is enough to keep a habit going. Drawing for 15 minutes a day, because what happens is 15 minutes turns into 30 minutes, 30 minutes turns to an hour, and an hour turns into 2 hours, 3 hours, etc. and etc. This is how you properly build a habit, is by not forcing yourself to do something, but instead slowly and surely building a passion for it and eventually a habit for it. The information I got in related to studying animation itself. First, and one of the most important ones is learn from the masters. Learn from people who had succeeded better than you, and copy their work in a way to learn instead of to plagiarize. This way, you can benefit. From their work. You can also benefit from that from looking at real life movements and images, looking at real life reference. They can inspire you and make sure that you get the initial feeling of realism, and making sure that your animations is grounded to reality. One of the most important things that I've learned here is also to always be open to new ideas and to study resources that you have. I'll cover this in future slides. So here's the Tatami Galaxy storyboards from a man called Masaki Yuasa, which I admire the most because of his unconventional way of working in the animation business, which he is always encouraged to try and dabble in every single aspect of the animation, from the script to the storyboard to the animation itself. And so I decided to study his style of storyboarding and his style of directing with my storyboard here, which is, in my perspective, is visually similar to his. I also did this, which is studying from real life. I did this Toniko Panjura exercise, which you only trace what you feel is the outer contours of the figure itself, making sure that you have the confidence to be able to execute these lines for animation. Thinking and self-management skills. What problem solving and what problems did I solve, and what challenges did I overcome? So my main challenges is transforming the storyboard to the layout, keyframes in betweening, and file management, the horror. So I needed to transform my storyboard, which is a visual indicator, into something fully fleshed out as a background, or maybe even a short animation. This required a lot of thinking and a lot of digging up from old past art projects that I did. And eventually I settled down with this. The problem I had, that I had one reference image that I took from my house, which was really nice, but only that one image alone, and I needed to expand the mood that I got from that image to a bigger scale, because of course one image is not gonna fit my animation itself. So I decided to visually edit and take parts of the image itself, copy it a bunch of times, and make this large room, or what it feels like is a large room, almost like a library, as my main character's main room. Of course, files, filed, and files. This is the amount of times I've moved throughout the project from one house to another. I was living in two houses at the time. And this is the amount of animation files that are here. And of course, I don't want to bore you with more file stuff, but there is also the layouting process, which is done on a separate program that has, I think, around 1 gigabyte of actual images, which is a lot. Here's the final project itself. To be honest, I was really struggling to do this project and really struggling to keep a habit of doing this project. So in the end, post-production in terms of sound wasn't really a thing. You can tell that the editing process was also quite choppy, and I didn't spend much time on editing. And to be honest, I spent one night on editing in here. If you just skip to the end, we can see most of the animations in the back, actually. Trees growing around him. This is supposed to be uh, a man that's struggling to drink a glass of water. He's just overloaded with the amount of stress and work that he has to do because of his past actions. And he eventually hallucinates into thinking that this one glass of water is an entire tsunami. Here's some animations I did, which is a study from Masters once again. This is the one I did of the animation I showed you. I started to study the workflow of the animation. Oops. So judging my project, the story itself I think was really great, but the execution was lacking on my part. With crit B being 4.5, the animation sequence being 24 to 12 frames per second, which is really good. So it isn't too bad. I give it a 6, and the crit A, which is the planning, I'll give it a 5, which is average at best. You with personal bias. So this is the best possible score I could have ever milked out of my project. Whoops. Sorry. So what can you learn from my mistakes? First of all, is that planning is your friend. Planning gives you a general direction that you need to go, and it gives you an indicator whether this date you have to be finished by this date, and you have to be finished by this. Planning also corresponds to the habits you need to develop, and you need to develop a fashion first in order to keep it consistent throughout. And of course, the final one, which is the school provides the things that they provide for a reason. Don't think that they are constraints. They're only there to help you. And really think them over and implement them through your planning process. Because again, planning is your friend. A better plan might save my project, but it's already too late now. Something might save your project in the future. This is all that I can give you for the future generations. I know there's only parents watching, but thank you for listening, and thank you for your time. Thank you. Naira, wait, Farah, back to you. Oh, sorry, it appears my
Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you so much, Dana, for your presentation. It was very lovely to see your process. Moving on, next up, we have Muhammad Maharaja Alif with his project, The Joffy Coffee. Raja, the floor is yours.
Hi. So I'll just get started right away. So hi everyone, my name is Raja, or my full name is Muhammad Maharaja Alif, and my project name is Jofi Coffee. So first, let's talk about my learning goal and my personal interest. So my personal interest is that I have a very solid interest in coffee, and the reason why I have such interest in coffee is because I watched this movie once called Philosophy Kopi, the one starring Chico Jericho and Rio Dewanto, and I got hooked from since then. And why I'm interested in business is because I'm inspired by my cousin, I guess, because he has a business as well. So I helped a lot, and it feels like it's fun being my own boss. So my learning goal for my personal project is learn how to promote Japanese coffee beans. So throughout this whole process, I'm learning how to promote my product. So basically, marketing strategies. So the product itself. So my product is a small coffee shop that operates on an online platform such as Instagram. And also, not just that, I also operate in my nearby neighborhood and also my school. So what makes my coffee shop coffee shop different is that I use only Japanese coffee beans. I only use dumpet beans, which originates from East Java near Malang. And the reason why I choose that is because I am also from Malang. Well, part of my family is, but I feel like it's a way for me to connect with my culture, with the culture. The process. I'll just keep it short. So I'll talk about planning and action. So for planning, it wasn't really that fun. So what I did mostly was brainstorm ideas and what the coffee shop or business will look like. And everything I do and say, I always talk it out with my supervisor as well. So to make sure that what I plan is aligned with what I want. And for action, all I did was promote and sell my product, my coffee. And at first, I did have trouble selling, and that's part of the fun, I guess. I learned how to overcome these problems, and one of the problems that I recognized during that time was that my target audience was just too wide. Because first, I focused too much on a certain age group that I don't know where they're from. So I narrow it down to nearby communities. So from online platform, I also use the nearby community. So the way I promote to my nearby community is first I usually talk to them at school when I'm having casual conversation. I usually talk about my project, and for my neighborhood, um, I usually go house to house and give out flyers. The flyer itself has my contact number, my and the Instagram for the business, and also information about my products, such as what beans are used, the taste notes, what they should expect from my product as well. And also, there's the small photocopy shop that I use to promote my product. Usually, I will just hand them a bunch of my flyers, and they will just give it to whoever comes through their door. And last but not least is my reflection. So I have learned so much during my personal project. There are always ups and downs, but at the end I am able to overcome them. Starting a business alone, especially alone, can be very scary and very difficult, but at the same time it is very interesting. I learned many ways to promote my product, and I feel like that will be useful for me in the future because I always dreamt of having my own business. So yeah, and I also learned a lot about dumping coffee beans. And I feel like from now I can use my knowledge of these beans to further explore my hobby in coffee. So what I can conclude is I realized that my result wasn't as expected. I did finish my personal project, yes, but it wasn't really quite up to my expectations. Um, I believe that's it from me. I did keep it short. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to put them down in the comments or the chat, and I will gladly answer them. Thank you. That's all from me. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Raja, for the insightful presentation. And yes, like what Raja have mentioned before, we will have a Q&A session after this. So feel free to drop your questions below. Next, last but not least for this session, we have Naira Amadea Sanoaji with her project, Project Gia. Naira, the time is yours. Oh, hi Naira. So sorry for this, but we cannot seem to hear you. I think there's something going on with the audios. Sorry, Naira, we're still unable to hear you. Would it be possible if you try to use an earphone? Since there are some technical difficulties with the audio, the host will be playing a video until we are able to fix the problem. So enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Raja.
Hello everyone, my name is Nashwa.
Hi, my name is Farah Hadi Kusuma.
My name is Muhammad Bimo Caksono.
Hello, my name is Ardana.
Hi, my name is Calvin.
Hello everyone, my name is Renzo.
Hello, my name is Brianna.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth.
Hello, my name is Permardana Rodipa.
Hi guys, my name is Laura.
My name is Kala Ivana Putri.
Hi, my name is Alianisa Nadia.
Hi everyone, my name is Naira.
Hello everyone, my name is Alfred Zamonstandi.
Hello, my name is Renata.
My name is Dana Dipa Nantadira.
My personal project is starting a coffee shop business.
I've decided to expand my knowledge and skills in fashion by making a set of outfit for a 1/6 scale doll.
My project title is Lose Those Weight.
My personal project is about learning basketball layup and dribble.
And my personal project is Sneakers Invasion. Sneakers Invasion is a social media account that gives education around sneakers.
My personal project is called the Random Thoughts Digital Gallery.
I am making a mixed media artwork, and it is relating to the psychological effect of the pandemic.
The learning goal of my project is to learn how to publish written works that will benefit society, and this goal was achieved by publishing articles on Instagram.
A personal project called eCar that will talk about eco-friendly cars.
And my personal project is titled Teruntuk Gen Z. The goal of my project is to learn how to encourage teenagers, including myself, to find and exercise their growing potential in life.
My personal projects are making clothes, and the design is the combination of 60s fashion and the nowadays fashion.
My project is titled Ways to Art, and my learning goal is to be able to learn on how to create artistic work from plastic waste.
And my personal project is called Project Cikal. My learning goal was to create a children's book, so I have made a self-written, self-illustrated, and self-published children's picture book.
From my personal project, I make the Instagram account named Rizzo Waste. Rizzo Waste is an Instagram account that specifically talk about zero waste program.
My project is called Inside Teenagers' Mind, and my learning goal is to be able to learn teenagers' mental health and how the pandemic has affected their mental health.
And for this year's personal project, I've decided to take my love of drawing and art and challenge myself by making a fully fledged animation with all the steps necessary.
Can we maybe do an audio test? No, it seems like we're still unable to hear you. It doesn't seem to be working. Due to the technical difficulties, we will be moving Naira's presentation to tomorrow. So, stay tuned because we still have 3 more sessions to go. But for now, let's move on to the Q&A session. And again, feel free to drop your questions in the comments below if you are curious about any aspect of the project. Let's start with Alyssa. So, Alyssa, how do you stay motivated when you're working through this project? Sorry, how do you stay motivated when you're working through this project? Because as we all know, this project spans for at least 3 terms, so it is a long time. We have to somehow keep our motivations. So how do you do it?
So one of like my biggest source of motivation is now that I try to tell myself that I'm doing this for like a greater cause. But aside from that, I don't like to admit this, but like I'm not the type of person to like that would want to miss deadlines. As in, like I just want to get this project done. Like my biggest motivation is trying to get this project done, and along the way, I would also like to tell myself often that whatever like what this project I'm doing, people that I can help people from this. Like I'm working towards a greater cause, I guess. So I guess that is that's how I become motivated. That's how I keep being motivated throughout the project. But yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, for your answer. Yes, it can be really hard to keep our motivations. Our next question is for Dana Deepa. Since you talk a lot about passion and your inspirations, especially from different artists, how important do you think passion is when it comes to creating a product?
I think passion is really important, and passion is one of the core aspects of creating a product and breathing life into a product that's meaningful. I was surprised one time when watching a video of a professional artist that he says that we shouldn't schedule the time we draw or do anything that we love, because love for something needs to come naturally, and therefore you can only draw when you feel like it, and then develop a passion, then turn it into a habit instead of trying to force yourself to draw every single day. Now, maintaining a passion is a different thing, and I don't think we have enough time to cover that right now. But that answers your question.
Thank you for the answer. And last but not least, we have a question for Raja. What do you have to say to other people who are also trying to start their own business?
Oh yeah. Can you repeat that question? My Wi-Fi just glitched out.
No problem. Since you're creating your own business for this personal project, what would you like to say to other people who are also trying to start their own business?
All I can say is it's a very bumpy road, and I encourage you to not give up. Like if you can, bring a friend with you so that you don't have to deal with every single problem yourself. But yeah, overall, just don't give up. There's always gonna be challenges that comes to you, but it's not about how big the challenge is, but it's about how you overcome it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for the answer, Raja, and thank you so much for all of your presentation. It was amazing. That is the end of our PPX talk session for today. So yes, again, thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Raja. It has been wonderful hearing your journey so far. And also, don't forget that we have three other sessions. We have another one today at 11:30 that starts at 10:30 and ends in 11:30 with the sub theme of arts and design. So stay tuned for that. And we also have two more sessions tomorrow. So stay tuned for that as well. And don't forget to follow our Instagram at SCA underscore PPX underscore 2022. There will be five more presenters after this presenting their own personal project. And yeah, I cannot wait to see all of them. Again, thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, and thank you so much for our presenters today. That is all from me and from Chikal for the first session of PPX Talk 2022. Again, so have a great day and goodbye.